Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 6 of the Monster Hunter Freedom Let's Play series. Today we're taking on Wyverns of Land and Sky, and as you can see here I've got a Rathalos soul base set with the Sword Saint Piercing Helm, giving me ESP, earplug and sharpening skill increased. Wyverns of Land and Sky is the final village elder quest, and as such it's got two G rank creatures, a golden Rathian and a silver Rathalos. Now the reason that you will see that everything is in fast motion is because YouTube in their infinite wisdom have decided that I cannot upload videos longer than 15 minutes for some reason. This means that to actually fit the entire fight, and I've had to speed up big chunks of it, and so you'll see it's running in fast motion. I have not actually activated any speed hacks. Right, so sorry, that means that I've sort of had to redo the commentary a little bit, but that's alright. The basic thing with this quest is that you're fighting both at the same time. Both are weak to thunder, and you haven't fought either by this point, and so you've only got elder gear. When I said before that they were G-rank creatures, what I meant by that was, although they've got slightly nerfed attack values, and I believe their defense is also a little bit lower, their hit points, the base level hit point range that these guys have, is actually higher than the base hit point range compared to a G-rank version with these individual quests, which means that this Rathian's got something like 6,000 something hit points from memory, which is a little bit higher than the minimum that the HR5 Gold Rathian can have. Like I said, with the decreased defense modifier, it doesn't mean that you're going to be fighting it necessarily for as long, but I thought it was interesting to bear in mind. Alright, now as you can see I'm fighting both at the same time. There's no separation tactics going on, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that the item box has given me status knives, which is quite good, because usually in these sorts of quests all you get from the item box is crap. Alright, now having checked through the melee damage formula, I'm on the understanding that in this game there's no special modifier for waking something up. So in Freedom Unite and Portable 2, you actually get a 3 times damage mod when you wake something up, but here I don't think that's the case, which is why I use a knife to wake it, to blow up the bombs instead of being more careful with them. Alright, I am using Elder Gear. I haven't made any Mega Potions in this game so far, but I do have a bunch of Max Potions, just in case I'm about to get whipped, and this is an honest-to-goodness first attempt at this quest as well. I did a quick run to make sure that I only needed earplugs and not high grades, and that I wouldn't bounce with on certain body parts with green sharpness, but otherwise this is the first time I'm doing this quest. So it's a bit of a warts and all run. It's not a perfect run by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said, I wanted to give you guys sort of a pretty earnest take on it. Right, so both creatures are obviously weak to thunder, and I'm using the Thundertip Sword and Shield, which is 308 raw and 320 thunder from memory. The weak point for these guys is the wings, as opposed to the head for normal Wraths. The head does take a fair bit of elemental damage, but you'll bounce with most classes on it, and you get more mileage from attacking the legs, going for a trip, and then hitting the wings when it's knocked over, which you can see me doing here in fast motion. Sword and Shield is pretty good for Rathian. She likes to stay on the ground. She's got more HP as well, and we're attacking her first because we can kill her quicker. And as soon as you remove one of these two Wyverns from the equation, it gets much simpler. So we're killing her first. The Silver Rathalos is not a great creature to take on with Sword and Shield, as you'll see shortly when I finish off the Rathian. He doesn't stay on the ground for very long, and hitting the wings is not particularly easy. Hitting the legs is also really annoying to do when it flies all the time. So yeah, and like I said, it's a first take, so my tactics for him were not particularly refined, but you know, we'll do it again. And as you can see there, I blocked the Air Claw, didn't have enough stamina to block the first time. A fireball glitched and went through me. Second fireball did not glitch and killed me. And as you can see, I hadn't really made any mistakes up to that point. Well, I had made a few, but I was on pretty good health at that point. I was just unfortunate enough to get caught in a combo by the creatures, but that's okay. Right, so this is pretty much the fight. There's nothing special going on. I'm not doing anything particularly amazing. There's no consistent MOI usage or anything like that. It's just making sure that you understand what's going on with both creatures at the same time. What I do when I'm doing these dual monster quests, I actually quite enjoy them, is I'm usually quite familiar with the patterns for both of the creatures, and so if Rathalos is doing something, I wait to see what he does. I sort of make a mental note of how long I have of an attack window, and then I hit, like, so if he's doing a fireball, I know that gives me about 3 seconds before I need to look at him again, which means that I can hit the Rathian for a little bit without needing to worry what he's doing. And as you can see there, once I trip one and once the Rathalos is charging, I know that he's going to be occupied for a little while, so I'm safe to hit for a bit. I don't always do it perfectly, which is why you'll see me getting hit, and of course the wind press from Rathian, if you don't account for it, you can quite easily get stuck and then whomped by Mr. Loss. It's not great, but you know, it happens, and it's, in my opinion, it's much more interesting, fun, and challenging than just doing a single monster quest, but you know, lol Rathalos. So that's essentially the gist of what we're doing here. Not running into charges is also a pro tip. There's not, like I said, there's not a lot special going on. It's just about understanding the attack windows that you have. It's about identifying when you can attack safely and when it's probably safer just to leave them be if you're not sure that you can exploit an opening safely. Right, so by this point it's about 10 minutes into the quest. I've done reasonably well apart from one unlucky combo from the two of them. And even though this is Elder rank gear on what amount to probably slightly harder than high rank, not quite as hard as G rank creatures. You know, it's going alright so far. Rathian is pretty much consistently enraged. I've got her in a nice sort of trip lock pattern almost, where she's getting tripped every couple of seconds. Well, I mean, sorry, every 30 or so seconds to be more accurate. And yeah, you know, I'm making sure that the Silver Rathalos is kind of easy to account for in this mission because all he basically did was flew up in the air. And so if as long as I was careful and made sure I knew what he was going to do, then you can pretty easily avoid it. And as you can see there, I'm going for the 4-hit combo most of the time, and then when it falls over, going for the wings it feels good, man. That's a lot of extra damage. And as you can see here, Rathalos actually killed Rathian, and she's dead at 11 minutes and 50 seconds in. Now from here, I think I sped it up even further, just because the fight gets really repetitive, and also my Norton antivirus decided to be a good idea to turn on, which is why every now and then you'll see it being quite stuttery. So what I'm trying to do here with the Rathalos, aside from not inflicting status fast enough to use my throwing knives properly, is basically to hit the wings as it lands. Now Sword and Shield doesn't have any built-in wind press moves, and I couldn't fit wind press on this set, so it means that I'm sort of having to jump in and hope that I time wing hits well enough. Alright, and because it's a little bit dry, I'll read out the questions that you guys sent in last time. I didn't, not having to account for as much time as I thought I would, but you know, you send them through, so I'll answer them. Alright, first one is, my question is, will you be joining the Monster Hunter podcast crew again soon? I'd love to. I had a blast doing the first one, and actually Shepard asked me to come and do one of their challenge quests, and I did the second challenge quest, which was a Kidneki one, but unfortunately it did not work, which is why they ended up going for a different one. But if you'd like to see me on there again, harass Shepard. Second question, do you like listening to music other than metal? I sure do. I'm a classically trained pianist, actually. I did 10 years of piano before I started learning guitar or bass. So I've got quite a good appreciation for a lot of classical music, as well as some pop and sort of varying shades of heavier music approaching metal. So alternative rock, so stuff like Pearl Jam and little bits of the Chili Peppers and stuff like that. But I do like metal because, you know, as a younger guy playing guitar, I spent a lot of time practicing technique, and of course metal is quite technique heavy, so I started listening for the technique and stayed with the attitude. Next up, how was I introduced to the Monster Hunter series? My brothers Vashin Knives, that's not their sort of birth names obviously, they played a lot of it, and they live in a different side of the country from me. And so I went out to visit them once, and they were going on and on about this game called Monster Hunter, and so I thought, oh yeah, you know, I'll give it a look. Didn't look particularly good, just looked like a third-person RPG with sort of crappy camera controls. Ended up getting as far as Cuckoo, and I was hooked, and as I'm sure you guys can sympathize, once you kill your first Wyvern, it's a fantastic experience. Next one is the first creature that drove me nuts. That would probably be Plesioth. Back in the day I was a GS only user, didn't understand anything about MMI, didn't understand anything about hit zones or attack values or anything, so I just sat under creatures doing infinite combos because I didn't know any better. So as you can imagine, doing that on Plesioth is not a good way to profit. Next up is, which do you think is better in the whole, and I assume this creature means better across all Monster Hunter games, heavy bowgun or light bowgun? I'd say light bowgun actually, because with the exception of Freedom Unite /2G, heavy bowgun's recoil issues and movement speed mean that you're not often in a position to exploit weaknesses like you are with light bowgun, and rapid fire means that your LBG is much less skill dependent. Which I find better. You know, I mean, it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But if I had to pick one to use consistently, it would probably be light bowgun, actually. Next up is baiting. Do you think that this mechanic, so monster baiting, monster baiting, stop giggling, was left in the games on purpose, or is it a failure in the AI, or is it something else entirely? So monster baiting refers to when you sit in front of a creature like a Tigrex and you force it to use short range attacks instead of doing long range attacks. My take is that it's deliberately left in and it really enhances the game. As you can see here, I'm not sure how much it's going to stutter when I publish the final version, but Rathalos is basically just flying up over and over again because I don't have a lot to bait it with. It makes the game quite frustrating and pretty boring, to be honest. So any creature that you can manipulate makes the game more skill based and less luck based, and that's going to be a good thing. It's coming up to the end of the quest here, and there we are, and I think that was about 26 minutes long. That's the entire quest cleared using Elder rank gear. Sorry if it was a bit sort of stuttery, and sorry if it was a bit all over the show and there wasn't really a lot in terms of, that you could see in terms of tactics. Blame YouTube, they forced me to speed it up. I'm but an innocent video maker. So that was episode 6. Next one up is the Four Horns rank up quest from HR 1 to 2, which is quite infamous. It's not as bad as the Monster Hunter rank up quest, but anyone who's played Monster Hunter Freedom will sort of understand that it's pretty brutal. I hope you guys enjoyed the quest. And if you've got more questions, you can fire them through if you love hearing my dulcet tones, and if you do not, then don't send questions through, it's up to you. So this was everything. I hope it was interesting to watch, and yeah, Wyverns of Land and Sky cleared with Elder rank gear. This was Mazereon, and this is Mazereon out.